Hey there, before the show begins, I wanted to give you guys a quick heads up. We recorded the spoiler-free episode ages ago with the hope that we might be able to catch our guests. During this time, however, I seem to have lost some of my notes for Bonehunters. That said, this is still a pretty long episode. I did find my notes later, and while there are still quite a few things to talk about, we might end up doing another bonus episode at some point. So sorry about that, but I hope you'll enjoy this episode. Spoilers and Fandom is like a book club for geeky stuff. Join us as we delve into the depths of our backlogs and sift through the games, comics, shows, movies, and books that we haven't checked out yet. Hey everyone, welcome to the spoiler episode for Bonehunters, and it's been ages since we recorded the spoiler-free episode.
Yeah.
We've been trying to nail down Dean and Agre, but we were unable to do so. So we can't wait any longer, so we're just going to do this and hope for the best, really.
Yeah.
I'm Hellsknight.
I'm Hillary.
And we actually have a live audience member today. Hillary's friend is watching us from the shadows. Yes. His name is Tim. Shout.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know if the mic's called that, but yeah, trust us. We have an audience member. Today also what we're going to do is, we got a lot of comments that I didn't respond to on the YouTube channel, because I think it's not just for me to respond to, I think it's like and everyone should respond to it kind of thing, related to books. So we'll start off with that first.
Yeah.
So
the couple of comments which you've gotten from the podcast, I don't know whether they were on YouTube or...
They're on YouTube. They're all on YouTube.
Oh, these are all YouTube comments?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one we have is from, I think, someone called D. Is it? How do you put the names with guys?
Yeah, D.
Okay. So this is from D. So D says that they like the gentlemen who we have as guests, namely Agri and Dean, because they have good insights and perceptions into the books and the rest. So we were hoping to have them over for this episode and hopefully all the Nameless Ones going forward. But because of timing and scheduling, it wasn't really possible. We were actually meant to do this a while back. We've tried, this is like our third or fourth try at this episode, trying to arrange with everybody.
With them, yeah.
Yeah, but since we weren't able to nail them down for the time, we just had to go ahead and do it ourselves. So we'll try and get them on the later episodes as much as we can.
Yeah. They are ahead of us in the books, right?
Yeah, Dean finished already.
Dean's on his third reread of the whole series.
So I guess that's where now the insights and perception come from. Because they have a bigger picture of the books than we do.
Yeah. I refuse to read ahead until we record, because I want to come in I don't want my future reading to taint stuff.
Yeah, and that was kind of the point anyway of the book read.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to see the series as fans develop. We want the series to develop ahead of us as it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And give you the live reactions to what's going on.
Yeah.
I will try and have better conversations with them. I also do have the most notes, I think, from anyone.
Yeah.
I'll try and phrase my questions a bit more interviewish, I guess, with them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the answers we get from them are not me dominating the conversation, I guess.
Yeah, me too also. I will try and figure out how we'll be able to how we'll be able to bring up the conversation and lead at least from there. Yeah. Then the next comment is from Joshua. I think these ones are more like, what's the word? The excerpts from the book.
Or made up excerpts.
From the book.
And they're just funny.
But they're really cool. So there's one where it's a conversation between a nurse and a patient, where the nurse says, "Sir, you've been in a coma since January 2002. And the patient is like, "Oh boy, I can't wait to resume my favorite fantasy series and pick up where I left off. I hope Felisin finally and lovingly reunites with her sister Taveri." Yeah. That, I don't know whether that'll happen. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But he says also the boys are back in town. And he posts now an excerpt on Roulade in his comment, sorry. And yeah, it's a small comment from Roulade It's a small comment from Rulab. Sorry, I was trying to read it as I was trying to say it. Sorry. Yeah. Then the next one is from John Raven, and he was asking whether these videos spoil anything after the book they discuss, because he's almost done with House of Chains, and in his head he's finding it a bit muddy as he's blasting through it. That there's so many characters, side plots, and deceptions. And it's getting hard to follow, so he wants to watch something that will help him make sense of this, because his memory isn't good. Yeah, whatever we quote as a spoiler has spoilers from that book and the books before it. So I'd advise maybe skip the spoiler episodes, but if you find the spoiler-free ones, we pretty much just recap and discuss the book as much as we can without letting out much of the story.
Yeah. I'd suggest that if you're like, you're probably not on House of Chains anymore. If you're on like Midnight Tides, for example, listen to our Midnight Tides spoiler-free cast, and then after you're done with that, listen to the spoiler cast. Yeah, because there's stuff in that book that didn't sit right with me either. So I hope that these discussions help. From the general vibe that we're getting, it seems to have helped people as well. More than the Reddits in some cases. Yeah. So, and we don't like I've mentioned before. Hillary and I haven't read ahead. Dean has read ahead. Agre has read a bit ahead. So if we're missing like some context stuff, they normally are able to fill stuff in, but they are careful about what they say and what they don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I think.
No, wait.
It's hard for us to know, right?
No, but they've never given us a spoiler so far, so...
Yeah. Or they might troll us.
Nah, I don't think so.
I think Dean may have made me think that one of the characters would die in this book. Not the character you think who actually does die, but another character would die in this book, and that character did not die in this book. So I think he was trolling us a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like he's keeping us on our toes, just making sure that we're paying attention.
Yeah. So that really does help us, especially when he's like, "Oh, pay attention to this person's name and that person's name." Yeah. And then we see why later. For example, the captain of the ship in Memories of Ice. Was it Memories of Ice or no? It was Deadhouse Gates. The captain of the ship that Kalam goes on to.
Crust.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a spoiler episode. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we can
Crust.
talk about it. Crust, for example. And now we know why.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But, he didn't explicitly tell us.
Yeah, you just give enough information so that hopefully you'll be able to pick it up yourself.
Yeah.
But by and large, we'll try not to put spoilers in the spoiler-free episode and save all that for the spoiler episode.
Yeah.
So once you finish the book, hopefully now you'll get stuff there.
I hope you're where we're at.
Yeah.
At the moment. And good luck with Midnight Tides. That one was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was easy for Dean, though. Yeah.
Now, the last comment, I think, is from the Riddler. They mentioned that Bug kills an Edur during the end, and that Edur is the one that's found by the bridge burners in Memories of Ice.
Yeah.
So now that sets the timeline.
Yeah, he was referring to us not knowing where Midnight Tides takes place.
Memories of Ice.
Or Midnight Tides. Midnight Tides, where it takes place. Because this was a Midnight Tides comment. And we were trying to wonder where it took place, because it's in a completely different world space for most of it. And we're trying to figure out where that happens in the story with Memories of Ice and the other things that are going on. And
Okay.
This sort of makes sense of that.
Okay.
Anyways, on to now the main thing. Have you read anything else, though, before we start?
Since we finished this book?
Yeah.
No. But I've been listening to the audiobook as much as I can. It's been a long book, and I started, let me say I've done 70%. I've done the audiobook again through the book up to 70%.
Okay.
Yeah. So all I did now was take a separate set of notes of what was happening throughout the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've read 2 other books. One's Fight Club. It's worth a read. It's kind of short. And the other one was Striptease, which is actually decent. I don't know how they made that into a movie, though. There's like a lot of sexual stuff in that book.
They both are movies, right?
Fight Club is a movie as well.
Yeah, even Striptease. I thought it's Striptease.
Yeah, Striptease is a movie as well, but they're books first.
Yes.
Striptease is very explicit. It's a good story, but it's quite explicit. It's well written. I have no idea how they made that a movie.
I think I watched that movie back in the day.
It's with Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like they took a lot of liberties and changed stuff.
Probably.
I'll need to watch the movie to know for sure. But they're worth reading, I think.
Okay.
And Fight Club is a stream of consciousness kind of book. So, like, I hate those. But it's the better one of the better ones I've read.
Okay.
And it's short, again. You get through that pretty fast. I was going to drop it at one point, and then it got better.
You did audiobooks or?
Audio. All audio.
Which versions?
Actually, those were by a company called Recorded Books. I got them as a bundle at some point of like movie adaptation books.
Okay.
So that came along with the Hunger Games and some of the ones.
Okay. Fine. Those ones I'll give it. I'll try maybe Striptease. Because I don't know. I'm not particularly interested in Fight Club. Is it worth it? Okay, of the 2, which one would you recommend to try?
I preferred Striptease.
Okay. And not just because of the content.
Not just because... Nah, it's just a straightforward story. I thought it would be like a detective noir because that's the way it describes it, but it's not like that. It's not that at all. It's just there is a detective in the book that comes up later.
Oh, so it's
just a story. Yeah, it's a story. It's like the main character is the stripper. There's also a bouncer. And yeah, they're just various characters, and their stories kind of like intermingle with each other. There's like a congressman and like a guy who fixes stuff for politicians by shady means.
A fixer.
Yeah, a fixer. Yeah, he's actually called a fixer. That's an actual thing. Okay. Yeah, and those are the main characters, and kind of revolves around
those 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just told well. But again, I don't know how it would work as a movie.
I don't really remember the movie that well, but I know I've seen it, and I know it was good, but I just don't remember the details of it that well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel, I'll try the book. I'll try the audiobook.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to spoilers now.
On to spoilers.
For Bonehunters, the 6th book in the series.
Yeah.
What did you think about... like, I noticed that there's like a lot of spider stuff happening in this book. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Because between Igatan, between Mapo's healing, Mogora had a big role in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she showed up a lot more. Okay, I feel like she showed up a lot more in this book than in the previous ones.
Yeah, she did work in this one.
Yeah. And even up to, even in pivotal moments, what's his name? Pust was looking for her even when things were going down. So you do know, there's a lot of spider references. Is there a spider god?
Yes, I think they refer to it. Like, I think when Mappo is being healed and stuff like that.
When the moon being weird throughout the book.
Yeah, and then Cotilion comes by and is like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but also the book opens with Captain Drunky. I've forgotten all the names. Listen, I've read the book twice.
Hellion, I think.
Yeah, Hellion, right. Captain Drunky. I've read the book twice. It's just been a while. I was going to read it a 3rd time, but I didn't. But yeah, Hellion. The book opens with her, and she talks about like spiders and stuff. And I've noticed this with like all the books. It's like there's like an animal theme for all of them that's different. I don't remember what the first one was. The second one was like all about the flies. Because it opens with like Hiborik.
It was during that whole Chain of Dogs vibe.
Yeah, and it talks about the flies and that kind of stuff. And Rizan.
Yeah.
The third one, I think it was about the veteran. The like that character kept going into dreams and dreaming about Bedouin and stuff like that.
There might be.
Or was that House of Chains? Now I'm confused. But
House of Chains is book 3, right? No,
House of Chains was 4.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's like animal themes
Mm-hmm.
in all of these. And I do think that spiders kept popping up in this book quite a lot.
No, there's direct spider references in this.
Yeah.
The Nameless Ones.
Yeah, what did you... The Nameless Ones show up a lot more in this book. What did you think of them?
I liked the fact that the games are still in play and that Sister Spite is the only one surviving out of them. Are they? Is she?
She's not the only one surviving. She was working with them.
Didn't
they then she tells us later. No, those are just members of the
Nameless Ones.
Yeah. It's like the Nameless Ones are a cult. And they have agents, and Sister Spite along with those guys were all with Sister Spite and some cult members were there resurrecting the
Ginebra.
Yeah. But no, they're not all dead because they're still like messing with Mappo and stuff. But like in this book, we know what they're about and what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because they're directly involved with what they do with Mappo. Replace him with fake Mappo.
Yeah. The
and train
Mappo.
fake and train him as well. They're very like. How do you feel about all that? Like knowing what they're about?
Like maybe there's something I'm missing about the Nameless Ones. Because I felt like when Spite was there and when they were summoning the Ginebra, I thought that Dajim killed the other 7 and she's the only one who survived.
Yeah.
So it's the ghosts that are basically just carrying on with this.
Maybe. I didn't get that vibe. I just thought that they were just agents.
Maybe, yeah. Because now that's the confusion now for me. I don't really know. It's not been directly mentioned as far as I know. How many there are, what they're up to, and I'm fine with this. But I'm kind of seeing. I don't really know what the end game is.
So they want Ikariam as a weapon.
Yeah.
As their weapon.
Yeah.
For something.
Yeah. But now, why are they?
And they're trying to use Ikariam as their weapon.
But I'm not understanding why they're getting rid of Mappo. Because with Ikariam running around with Mappo, it basically keeps him in stasis. He's being kept on the bench non-stop. Because all he's doing is wandering the world.
Yeah. No. So I think what they wanted with Mappo was he was supposed to sort of like keep Ikariam like safe and make sure he doesn't get used as a weapon and kind of like be his caretaker kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Mappo is obviously like very close with him now.
Yeah.
And what I got was the Nameless Ones. We were told by Cotilion their plans have changed, or by Spite. I can't remember who said this, but like their plans have changed, and they want to now.
Take the throne.
While they were like keeping Ikariam away from becoming a weapon, now they want to use him as a weapon.
Yeah.
I suspect they want to use him against the Crippled God, but the implications that I'm getting from what people are saying is that's still a bad idea because, he's not controllable or something.
Yeah. He still isn't in any case.
Yeah. So that's the vibe I'm getting from them, but I don't know if that's what it is. Currently, I like where Ikariam is. They're going... Him and Karsa going in K-style to an island to fight for Outworld.
Yeah, they've literally been summoned to fight Ruler.
That seems kind of cool. Like it feels like it's like a thing on its own. I think I'll talk a bit more about that in a bit. In this book, there's also mention of a master of the Deragoth. What do you think that guy is? We get nothing except knowing that it had a master. They had a master,
yeah.
And they are this huge. I think they're like the biggest worrisome force Even though Karsa, like, literally beheaded 2 of them.
Yeah, Karsa was killed too, and we know now that the Deragoth are the ones that subjugated early man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's a master to them, that implies a level of skill.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The power levels come into play again.
And that's, for me, I don't know. If at all they have a master, by now that master is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they did mention that the Deragoth are kind of looking as well for the master.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Or at least they're unbound. They don't have... It doesn't feel like they're under anyone's control right now.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten one that's been able to communicate, let's say. They're not like the Hounds of Shadow are directly...
Yeah, they're more expressive as well.
Yeah, they're more expressive. Deragoth just show up and wreck shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I was hoping actually that Dean and Agri could fill us in on something, but yeah.
I guess, yeah, that's probably something that shows up in a later book, and we'll get to it.
Also, yeah, so there's another weird reference, like the bartender at the bar, I guess in Mala City? The bartender who welcomes, what's her name? The one who was possessed by the rope. Oh my god, how have I forgotten? The cool chick of Shadow. Absalar, yes. Oh my god. She walks into this bar and, she's like on her mission and stuff. She meets the bartender, and the bartender sort of like gives her a rare wine that she asked for and stuff. And he lets on, it feels like they're implying something, because this guy he's now a bartender, but he used to be with Dassem in the army when Dassem was killed. I feel like this bartender is going to show up later, because that seems to be something that constantly happens, and we have this information about a random bartender, so he'll
pop up, yeah. Because I feel like he's somebody, his name will show up later and we'll be like, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same way, what's his name? Barathol showed up in this book.
Barathol?
Mecca.
Yeah, as Kalam, yeah.
Yeah, as Kalam's uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle or cousin? I can't remember.
Cousin.
I can't remember.
Yeah. So he's just this random blacksmith, but eventually...
with an eye condition. With an eye condition, and apparently a badass, but yeah. There was also the stuff of Edgewalker being an elemental. I don't know what that means, but it definitely means that this guy is endless, like a real immortal, whereas you have gods that can be killed. I guess immortal
gods
elements.
and ascendants and all those, I guess, are mortal to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But elementals seem to be like forever. Is the impression I'm getting?
It's a very different impression. And even the power, the strengths also must differ.
But what element would an Edgewalker be? Like, what is an Edgewalker?
Maybe going by his name, he's on the edge of two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe he has access to more than one.
He's like on the fence.
Yeah. He's like a quick Ben.
Yeah. Quick Ben did work in this book, man. Gosh.
Quick Ben or Heboric? Who did the most work in this book?
Who did the most work? Parin.
Parin is main character.
Pust. Shadowthrone. Cotilion. Like, there was work. There was a lot of work in this book.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. You could argue that between Pust, healing Mappo, and making a bunch of those things happen. But I don't know, because like Heboric dying and coming back as Shield Anvil was insane.
After Destrian.
After misdiagnosing himself as a Destrian.
And after whatever he was for the Warthog god, the Boar god. Priest.
Yeah, the
priest of Fenar.
High Priest of Fenar.
Yeah, Destriant of Treach and a Shield Anvil of whatever this thing is.
I thought it's still Treach.
No, Shield Animal was of the Jade, whatever.
Oh yeah, of the Jade. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, he did work. You could argue that Bottle so did work. Bottle did some serious work.
Even what's his name? Hedge. When seeing Hedge coming back in this gave me like vibes.
Yeah.
Seeing what's his name? Parin, when he's on the trail, when he's going with Hedge in the Warrens, and he summons a cuss out of thin air. Ghost Hedge.
Yeah, Ghost Hedge.
Ghost Hedge. And he's basically like on the level of, he's almost ascending as a ghost.
Yeah, but they're
the god of sappers.
Yeah. That's actually in my notes. Hedge also reveals like that they're kind of just floating. So you ask Parin to align them to something.
Yeah.
So that they're not like easily taken by something they don't want to be taken. And it's like Hedge is also playing his games in the afterlife. Because he also, like, fakes that he's been killed by the Deragoth or a bomb or whatever. Yeah. And he lets Parin go off and he's trying to figure stuff out. So Hedge is on his own solo adventure as a ghost. I thought that was funny.
And then now... Sorry, yeah, continue.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest things happened in this book. Which is the first conversation that Pust has with Shadowthrone. Where
it's Pust, Shadowthrone, and
Cotilion.
Yeah.
And the way Pust talks and is like so like rude and insulting.
Yeah.
And that like we don't know what he was told to do until later, but like Pust was told to go and basically protect Mappo or go and make sure that Mappo is alive. And basically stop whatever the Nameless Ones were trying to do. And that was Pust's task that he was given. And just that whole interaction of how he took that job on is for me one of the funniest moments in the book. What would you say yours was, if you remember anything?
For me, Pust, from when he was introduced, has been consistently one of my favorite characters. Because that idea of him being so mad that he has no filter. And he just talks.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand that everybody knows what is. Everybody can hear his thoughts, and he still thinks that he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yep.
Yeah. And I like, that also, I don't know. For me, I found it funny on kind of two levels, because there's Pust in his madness, and the Shadowthrone in his madness.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Shadowthrone is just Pust on a higher scale.
Yeah, but also... Like, Shadowthrone isn't, like, he's conniving as hell.
Yeah, he's
like,
conniving
really
as
smart.
Hell. Yeah, but he's not as, let's say, as mad as Pust.
Yeah.
But I count them as on the same level. They're just both crazy. The only sane guy in that room was Cotilion. And that's saying a lot. And Cotilion just being, I don't know, I find Cotilion being the most interesting of the three, because he's the comic straight man. Everything that happens, you're seeing it through somebody's eyes who's looking at it as soberly as possible.
Yeah.
And it still looks crazy.
Yeah. Even the dogs at one point, like, insult Cotilion in this book. Like, they're like, no, it wasn't me. Like, the whole thing with Absolar stopping the hounds from getting to Quick Ben's sister.
Yeah.
Or to Quick Ben, rather. Like, Absolar holds them off. Mm-hmm. And she actually cuts one of the hounds. Yeah. And because, like, Absolar is, like, a kind of, like, Cotillion's
shadow.
Mentor or something. Yeah, whatever they are now.
Yeah, no, she's shadow, essentially. Because she's learned, he possessed her, and whatever residuals are in her.
And even the knives she used were Cotillion's, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like...
Man, those guys.
So the dogs are like, the dogs blame him for that, like... It's like, it wasn't me. There was a lot of fun stuff, and I guess grim stuff as well.
Yeah,
which we'll get to in a bit.
Of the grim stuff, of the grim stuff that we found in the book, in Malazan so far, I want to mention maybe Kapostan, every major city, like. Kapostan in, what is it called?
Memories of Ice.
Memories of Ice.
Yeah.
Then there was, which was the second city what's another big momentous occasion?
There was the one. So there's Capustan. There was. I think every book had. No. I think Egerton was after Capustan.
Egerton is in this book.
Yeah.
What's this guy called?
The other one was the Panyan Domain, but like black coral.
Coral, yeah.
Coral.
I was about to say what's his name dies.
Who?
This guy on the Malazan army.
Whiskey
Jack. Where Whiskey Jack dies. Yeah. Coral. I'd forgotten the name of that place. So Egerton now is one of the major, I want to say, failures of the Malaz army. So this is another one of the big set pieces that really stuck with me. Because I didn't believe that Leoman was this mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got a cool guy on the good guy side now.
Yeah.
Corabb, Bilan, Thenwalis. What a name.
I don't know why he always says his full name.
Because he's like got that fanatic. You know who he reminds me of?
Uh-huh.
He reminds me a bit of like Victor Soulspire from Warhammer Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that, religious zealot vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I will always talk like this, and I will always have my opinions. I might do the right thing. I might,
Because he really reminds me.
But I will always be jaded.
Because he reminds me of like early Casa. When Casa was always saying,
yeah.
witness me, but he
with less bravado, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have as much alphaness. So it doesn't come off as strong. I don't know.
Yeah. He's very likable though.
Yeah.
When he's going mad as well, like he's hallucinating at some points. In this book, he's hilarious.
That whole scene underneath Egerton, when they got to the weird place with the spiders again, and then they ate that weird honey.
Yeah.
That was down there.
They all got high.
They have that weird spirit quest that's down there. Then they come back out, and he's changed his mind. He joins now the army. I liked that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Oh, I think the turning point for him, though, was when Leoman run away.
Yeah.
And get everyone else to die for his retreat.
Because for him, his whole thing was he wanted to save the kids.
Yeah.
And he imagined that being with Leoman and Leoman being part of Shaik's army, the way they used to take in all sorts of like orphans and rejects, not knowing that it's actually Bidithol who used to take them into his cult and do other bad things. He in his head always used to think that we saved kids, I guess.
Yeah.
Then Leoman shows him, ha, psych, and leaves.
Yeah.
Then he's left there with, okay, so I guess I have to go with it. I have to follow my heart, and his heart takes him with the Malazans, who end up being the bad guys. Who he ends up, even when he's talking with Fidler throughout, and he's telling them, you guys don't eat children, and Fidler's like, what the hell are you talking about? We don't do this. We don't act like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his character development was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like when a bad guy turns good. I think that's my favorite archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But speaking of that, Whiskey Jack's sister.
Yo.
And there's like plots that date back to when these guys were kids and stuff like that. About her being like supposed to be like Hood's something, and like all the conspiracies around it. There's like another web at play. Like,
yeah.
And then there's Quick Ben's sister. Like we're slowly expanding these guys' families, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the thing as well. We get also Quick Ben, the child.
The child.
And look at that. Ooh.
Ben the child felt very Bart Simpson.
Yep. It very did, yeah.
He felt very child horror. Not a horror. He just felt like one of those kids who was he was a handful.
Yeah. Up to no good all the time. Not much has changed to a certain degree.
Only that I guess now he has how many warrants? He can use 6 at once.
He has 9, I think.
Yeah. But just that all I know is he can use 6 at once.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That clash with Yeah, and Shadowthrone got him. So this is what I mean. Like Shadowthrone have, has like Quick Ben, like on their hit list for some reason.
But he's also on his.
But they also recognize his talent.
Yeah.
So like Shadowthrone tricks Quick Ben, sort of, and ends up using like teleporting him randomly to Ikariam, where that fight is going. Where he is like he meets up with Troll. He meets up with Troll's crew and is like, here's Ikariam, stop him. Like, you're the backup. And dude has a hard time doing that, but like he literally unleashes everything. He starts like nosebleeds, everything goes wrong for him. But he manages to hold Ikariam off for a bit, at least.
And for me, like, the way this book went, what you've mentioned is basically now the finale.
Yeah.
The book starts off pretty much where the last book ended. And it, in my opinion, it has a bunch of peaks. Because it goes up until Igatan. Then it drops down again. Then it's when they get back to Mala's Island. And they want to screw them on the ships.
Yeah.
And then they have to escape.
Yeah.
And then now there's the end again.
Yeah.
So I liked now that, what's it called? The ramp up of the pressure.
The pacing.
Yeah, the pacing. As now the book was not, once the book caught up, like it's a bit slow, I want to say, like in the first third. But once Igatan happens, everything now starts to flow. Things start to move from there.
Okay.
But I wished that sequence at the end I wish it was a bit more. I don't know. It felt a little short.
You mean the John Wick?
Yeah, the John Wick Ikariam vibe.
No, the John Wick Kalam thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait, the John Wick Kalam thing, yeah, I wish that was a bit longer, and even with Ikariam trying to stop him getting to the throne and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish there was, I don't know, it felt a bit short to me.
Yeah, that whole thing was sort of like a side thing, right? Like, these guys don't think Ikariam can fight. Look at him, he looks like a wuss. He's all the time crying. So how can this guy kill our emperor? Oh, let's go over here. Oh, wait, everyone died here. And they destroyed the throne. Like they go after one throne. They're basically trying to find warriors who can kill Rulad.
Yeah.
In battle. Their emperor in battle. They're trying to find warriors. And they're trying to test them by throwing them kamikaze style at all these threats in the world. So they use Ikariam and Karsa. Well, Karsa doesn't need to prove himself.
Karsa disagrees.
Karsa just kills things like straight up, and then it's like, oh, could we have you kill our emperor? But like Ikariam had to prove himself because he's like whining and crying all the time. So they go to the first throne, not the literal first throne, but they go to the first throne that they're trying to capture.
Yeah.
And Shadow Throne just creates an illusion there, showing like the throne's destroyed, and Ikariam sees through it, but he's like still in Whis mode. So he's like just thank you, because he doesn't like fighting, right?
Yeah.
And then they all head over to the next throne, and at the next throne they're supposed to take it over, and so they throw their warriors at it, and that one's being defended by Troll. And his crew,
and that's when Quick Ben is thrown in.
And then so that's gonna be interesting. Stuff between Quick Ben and Troll. I'm looking forward to that. Like, that seems like they'll have good conversations. But man, Troll holding off Ikariam. Like we already saw like how Troll literally calculated and held off like an army in the middle of like a snowstorm. But like Ikariam with a spear.
With a spear.
Like,
and this is the same guy who, okay, for reference, I'm saying this this is for Tim's benefit. When this guy was introduced into the book, we find him nailed onto a wall. Not just a regular wall, like, imagine like on Rift Valley.
Yeah.
Someone is nailed along Rift Valley and he's been left there for 1,000 years. Yes. That's his introduction to the story. And then he goes and stops Superman with a spear.
Yeah, and the spear is the thing that starts breaking.
Yeah.
But like his buddy dies in this as well.
That was
tragic. And his buddy switches sides as well. And we get more information about that guy's sect that are in the Idur. His Tister Andi dudes with the Tister Idur. Yeah, that was all very cool.
And even the demon. I felt really bad when the demon died.
The demon?
Yeah, Grey Frog.
Did he die?
Okay, well.
He didn't die. You've forgotten. It's okay, I'll remind you.
Okay. Yeah.
He's killed, but then he's a demon, so a little version of him, like the anime version of him, comes out of the big one's corpse.
Oh, he's alive!
Yeah, remember?
Oh,
and he's reunited with
Lorik,
yeah.
Oh, good. Fine. I was sad for a second, sorry.
Sad.
Yes. I like Grey Frog.
Yes. Conveys emotions really well with expressive selfies to let you know. He was also really funny in this book.
The fact that he wants Selara just makes me happy. Just makes me so happy. And she thought about it.
Yep.
Because he was talking nice to her. She thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Better than it's a step up from Kobodo Dom. Yeah.
Man.
There was stuff about like Cotilion having this conversation with 3 dragons that were crucified in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. And he was supposed to find the place in the real world where they'd been tied up. The negative, the opposite side. So he was supposed to look, because where they'd been kept. I thought it was like the stones were inward, or the trees were inward, or something like that. So he had to find something on the opposite side and the other side, where trees had been blasted outward.
I did not get that vibe. I just didn't know what any of that was about.
No. I feel like that's gonna come back because he went there asking for the help in the coming war, whatever that means.
Yeah, like which side will they be on, or if they're released, will they just like wreck shit?
Yeah. So during that whole conversation, even with the demon as he was heading there, when there's some information about what he's supposed to look for in the real world, so that he can now find out to be able to release them from this side, he has to find
something on the other side.
On the other side,
like an anger or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But there's like a lot of dragons. You have these 3 dragons who are stuck there.
Yeah.
And then you have Absalar's new friends who are also hilarious.
Yes.
Like they're also Pusts in their own right. But there's 2 of them.
Pusts in chicken bone Pust.
Yeah. Who are revealed later to also be dragons, souls of dragons. So there's like a lot of dead dragon spirit things around.
Wasn't there also another one that was supposed to be... Did we see the Tataral dragon in this?
No, that was the previous book. Okay. But yeah, that was the crucified giant dragon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Nah. There's still more stuff with the dragons. Also in this book, Absalar finds a tablet with more stuff to do with the Nameless Ones. So this is why I think that they're bigger than those guys who died.
Yeah.
They have like a bigger organization. But again, whatever was on that tablet isn't like revealed explicitly. But it has stuff to do with, I guess, like a hit list or their plans or something. Because Absalar in this whole book has a hit list, and it seems like whoever she's going to do the hits on has already been taken care of by the Nameless Ones. So I guess that's why Shadowthrone are like, hey, what's going on with this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember the tablet. Where was this?
It's right. So after Absalar meets with the Curdle and
Telerast,
right? She goes off to go do a mission. So she goes into a temple, and she's supposed to kill the person who's there, but the person's already dead. And she finds him there. And then the assassin who's there is a Nameless Ones assassin, who attacks her, and she obviously ends him really fast. And the guy who died was like searching through stuff in the ground, and so Absalor discovers like a thing, and it has all these like files and stone tablets and stuff. So she goes through it, but it's not revealed to us what's written there. Okay. Basically, where she meets she was followed at one point by the guys for the Seguleh Trade Guild, those two chicks, the coach drivers. And she like smashes into one of them.
Yeah, the Pardu thieves.
Yeah.
Assassins. Sorry.
Yeah. The Pardu people. That during that time.
Okay.
It's a small occurrence, but I don't know. There's probably like more there. I need to read it I think I need to read all these books a third time.
Like I feel like I understand now how these guys like Agri and Dean and all have gone through. They finished the books, and they're going through them again. Because like even now,
has Agri finished all?
I feel like he's gone all the way to 10, or at least he's gone to 9. He's ahead of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Iskarald, let's talk about him briefly. This is the last of my notes for whatever reason. Even though I know there's a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
But we mentioned Iskarald's power level.
Yes.
What is his donkey? His donkey is powerful as well. What?
At the beginning, remember when we were introduced to Iskarald,
right.
He has. I always thought that his donkey could shift.
Yeah.
And it was his assistant.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like now in this book, you also wonder. Because
the donkey is the one stabilizing the ship at one point and holding stuff from banging into them when the sky is literally falling. Like the donkey is the one stopping stuff from happening. Like the donkey. What is going on with this? Unless here's a conspiracy theory. Iskarald Pust was one whole person. And Icarium happened to him, and he got shattered like the war, like a mad dude, and a crazy chick and a donkey. That's my theory.
Like for real, okay.
And Crippled.
By the way, I'd agree with maybe Iskarald and Crippled being somehow related, because there's something about those two guys There's something about those two guys and their power levels and how they somehow manage to be in the right place at the right time and dodge everything that's thrown at them.
Yeah.
They never get hurt somehow.
Well, Iskarald will trip on himself. Cropper won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cropper took, what's that guy called? Caladan Brood. He took that guy's hammer to his foot and survived. And it's the world that got hurt. Iskarald Pust goes and fights. What's this guy called again? The Dejim
Yeah, and just
easily stops it. Like
easily.
Dejim Nebral is almost. Did he die?
No, yeah,
he almost died after the first.
He's definitely dead at the end of this book.
At the end of this book, he's dead. But the first time, like of his, I think it was 6 of 9 of his. What's it called?
Yeah.
His divas died. And you're like, how the hell does Iskarald Pust manage this?
Yeah.
Being the crazy guy talking for 4 books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
No, I like that.
And I like him more now. And he went off to do something else as well. If I remember right. Like he had helped Mappo out. His work there was done, and he had another task that he had to do.
Because when Spite came to... Because when Mappo met...
Oh, yeah, no, that's what he went to do. So he's supposed to guide Mappo towards Icarium to try and help him out. Yeah. But he doesn't trust Spite.
Yeah.
I don't trust
He doesn't... Well, agreed. Nobody should trust Spite.
And Spite and Envy seem to hate each other.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
But, like... Is it because of their names or like...
Wait. Isn't one of them supposed to marry Anamanda Rick?
That was Envy.
Maybe that's why.
Lady Envy was from book 4. Mm-hmm. I preferred her to
Spite.
To Spite. Spite seems, I don't know. She gave me the vibe of being evil.
She feels even Envy is evil. It's just that I guess we got her at a time when she was feeling like she just felt like being good. It was just vibes for her.
Yeah, like when she's like talking with Krull.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. Her whole thing with even her crew, mm-hmm. like Envy's crew. Mm-hmm. I thought she was being nice. Like, she doesn't need them there.
No, she doesn't.
To be honest, but she seemed to be doing the right thing, I guess. But like, feels like Spite is playing her own game mm-hmm. to a certain degree.
And I feel like they'll be on opposite sides. They'll end up at the end. They'll end up at the end head to head.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But this is what I don't get. Mm-hmm. They'll end up on opposite sides fighting each other, but they're both against like the Crippled God stuff. Mm-hmm. I think. Well, we don't know about Spite.
Yeah, we don't know about Spite yet.
Yeah.
We know that Envy is, but Spite's not yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I don't trust Spite.
Yeah.
And she's soul taken. We haven't seen what she can do, but she seems pretty powerful. She can turn into a dragon, and she is able to meet with various powerful entities. That's the extent of what we know.
And she was there at the release of the Gemini problem.
Yeah.
For me, one of the things that I really liked is, what's his name? Parin. Mm-hmm. Being able now to fully tap into his power as master of the deck. Where he's pulling cards out of thin air to now solve shit. That was dope.
Oh, yeah. I think I don't remember if we talked about it in the spoiler-free episode. Mm-hmm. But that moment where he's like, they're in that dead warren, right?
Yeah.
And they're being chased by this beast that's described as really screwed up looking, and it's gaining on them. Mm-hmm. And the way it's described, Parin looks to him and he utters 3 words, and he drew the symbol of a card and let it go. and a thing opens up and it sends that beast somewhere else. And these guys are like, "Whoa, what did you do? What did you say? What spell was that? What did you say?" He's like, "Please let this work."
like just seeing him bluff his way to success is just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really grown, man.
Yeah.
From the first book. I like him.
And then I don't know if you remember, there was a scene, I don't know if I'm also remembering this correctly. Wasn't there a scene in this book where there's this undead warrior who just shows up on horseback, and he's the Seguleh one? Yeah, the Hood's Knight or something. Yes, I'd forgotten where I've seen that.
Yeah, that was right at the start, and they give sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was trying to remember where it was from. Yeah. Please.
They go to the temple of where all these guys have been poisoned.
Mm-hmm. Poliel.
Yeah, mm-hmm. by Poliel. Mm-hmm. And like Haboric, Solara, Felisin Jr. and Cutter, they're all at this place. Mm-hmm. And a warren opens up, this guy comes out, and he's hunting Skinner, man. Skinner is like one of the avowed. Uh-huh. We've met Iron Bars, right?
Yeah.
You remember in the previous book there was the guy Iron Bars.
Yeah.
He belongs to the faction called the Avowed.
Uh-huh. So he's hunting Skinner now.
And Skinner was apparently like this guy's superior. And Iron Bars is a badass. But like this guy is like the guy's superior. And this guy's like trying to hunt Skinner for some reason. Mm. But this Hood's Knight or Hood's whatever he is. Mm. First sword or immortal sword, I don't know what he was. Mm-hmm. He was like at the top of the Seguleh stuff. Mm-hmm. And he reveals to Cutter that the Seguleh were originally Daru.
Yeah, they were originally in Darujistan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now, and he even knows about the politics. And apparently like Cutter's uncle has been like Or not Cutter's uncle. Baruch has been around for a while.
Yeah. No, even his uncle, because it was that whole Tarot Cabal.
Yeah.
So
he even refers to the names as like Mamet's name.
Yeah.
As Mamatario or
the
something
full
like
name,
that.
yeah. Baruch, whatever.
Yeah.
He gives they have full names, and that I don't know, that part really spoke to me, because I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
How does it mean that the mages are the ones who are in control of Darujistan?
Yeah, it definitely means that the alchemists,
for
like Baruch,
centuries.
is
and no one's noticed.
And why send the Seguleh somewhere else? Like,
and again, the way he mentioned, like, the Seguleh are supposed to be like the army, why are they in an island so far away now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but he mentioned that it's like they're being kept for a war. So I guess, they planned for this. This is all Baruch's. This is all in his plan somehow. Or Cropper. Damn it, it's Cropper.
It's Cropper. Yeah, because Cropper's there.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, it's Carl. Yeah, it's him.
It's definitely Cropper. It's Cropper's fault.
Then there was one other thing that I'd wanted to ask about, at least not ask about, but just to talk about, and it was the Eres'al.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered. Now, I don't understand Tamba, the original Eres'al, and the one we see at the end. Are they the same one?
Yes, they are the same one.
Okay.
The Eres'al, you remember in the previous book, someone literally lightning rapes a troll.
Yeah.
Takes his virginity in an instant.
Yes.
That is this one carrying the baby of troll.
Wow.
You remember like when Bottle meets the Eres'al?
Yeah, and
he's like, "Oh, you're pregnant." That is the same Eres'al who's been following like Tamber and all these guys.
So Troll has a son
or daughter
born
of a thing that is ancient,
born of a thing
and innocent.
All of them with weird power.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I wasn't that. Wow. I don't know.
Yeah, because the Eres'al can kind of even jump through time, apparently.
Yeah, because when Tamba dies,
the spirit of the Eres'al kind of leaves.
The spirit leaves.
Yeah, leaves to go somewhere else. Doesn't leaves the ethereal plane, but just kind
of just leaves them.
Yeah, was kind of like using her.
Okay.
Like that's what that kid Grubb points out to Lestara.
Lestara, yes.
And Lestara is now supposed to go and sort of like console Tavore without like revealing that Tamber was being was being influenced by an outside force.
Speaking of Lestara,
yeah,
I'm happy that Pearl died.
I'm very happy that Pearl died.
Yeah.
I feel like he went too easy.
Well, all things considered.
Because she ends it for him.
She ends it for him, but he suffered.
He didn't suffer long enough.
After Kalam, he's okay. Yeah, it wasn't enough, but he suffered.
Like Kalam is still in freaking agony.
But you know Kalam is gonna survive. He's in a dead house.
I don't know. Like we still have like Ralik lying there in a dead house somewhere, unconscious.
I thought Ralik was saved.
Ralik, after that explosion, he was taken to the dead house, and he has not woken up. Like
he's still knocked out.
Basically, like I think it's described as who's the Rest?
Rest, yeah.
Rest is like looking at them.
Oh, so Rest didn't take them in?
No, they're there. They're there in the dead house. Ralik and whoever the master of the assassins was, they're both unconscious there in like Parin's house.
That's still in Darujistan.
Yeah, they're still unconscious there. They haven't woken up.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly. So Kalam's in the one in Mala City. He's not waking up, man. I don't think we'll see him.
I think no. He's too big. He's too big a character.
Yeah. They could have just killed him, right?
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah, they could have just killed him. But if he's if he's there, then I feel it'll be explained next book.
For me, Kalam needs to kill the Empress. Like, needs to. He needs to kill Kobolodom.
Yeah.
He needs to kill Malik-Rel.
Yes.
And he needs to kill the Empress.
Okay, well, maybe not Malik-Rels and Kobolodom.
They are.
They need
assholes.
to die. They need to die.
Yeah. But you want Karsa. You want Karsa.
I want Karsa to be the
guy. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe he can kill the Empress. Those are the guys. We have plans for them.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where Karsa ends up in this book is awesome.
Heading to Letheras.
Yeah. I think I mentioned that already. Yeah. But I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm hoping the next book follows this directly. Also, you have the stuff. There's so much more world building as well in this. We talked about it, I think, briefly in the spoiler-free episode. But there's like world building with the guys who are now I forget where they're from, but the wolf guys with the big ships who rescue Tavora's army and have them sent through Warren that they were preparing for years. And they take like a shortcut through this other warren of Tog.
Tog and Fandom. Yeah, I remember
those
the
guys.
old hold. Yeah.
And they talk about this other place that they shouldn't go anywhere near. It's not touched by the Empire yet. But if they go anywhere near there, it's ruled by 3 wizard kings or something.
Yeah.
And they're super hostile.
Yeah. And they've never
if they go there, they'll get
toasted. Yeah.
Oh, sorry for swearing.
It's okay.
I'll censor that. But yeah, they'll get shown.
Because that part was mentioned in the sense that I don't know who it was who was describing that.
It was these guys. They were all discussing like their way forward on the ships, like which route to take.
But what was that second empire?
Yeah.
What were they called?
I didn't write it down.
But I remember when they were talking about that empire, it's like they were saying that it's just that they haven't come to attack the Malazans in 7 cities yet. Yeah.
But they sound
it's just
like...
that they're not expansionists. Yeah, that I remember that bit, yeah. It's just that they're not an expansionist, what's it called? Civilization. So they have no need to come across to 7 cities and Malazan side to attack. But if they did, they'd be twisted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they go there now, it could like...
That'll spark off another war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was interesting.
But yeah, and then one other thing that I was confused about, like Felisin younger. Once Heberic was killed and Kata and Co have been recovered, have been rescued, they took Felisin younger, and I don't know why.
They made her
They're making her like the high priestess.
Basically, yeah. So the crippled god is on one side of this, and the other guys are on the other side. So now she's gone back to the crippled god side, who has basically gotten the apocalypse or Shaik onto his side, and so they've gotten like it's his crappy Talanic Imas that he's used to go and kill these guys and take her.
Yeah.
Right? They've taken her and
the Unbound.
And yeah, the Unbound, right? And she is now the new Shaik reborn again. And I don't know. It's like what the crippled god is doing. I don't know. But like the army that's coming in are guys who were hit by plague, although now Poliel is dead, so I don't know what that means for those guys.
Yeah.
But it's still guys who are crippled or who have some something wrong with them. Yeah. And they're filling up the crippled god's army. So that's that hand, I guess. Something interesting that happens though is when the Unbound attack, they speak about flies swarming.
They do?
Yeah, like they're passing through a swampy area. Cutter, Heboric, Grey Frog, and Solara, and all these guys. They're going through a swampy area, and there's like this sudden surge of like flies talking, and it's almost like the Talani Mas. These guys don't go with sand; they come with flies.
Oh.
or something. That's the vibe I was getting, because they attack from nowhere and just start impaling all these guys in 2 seconds, and they're all dead. But like it was very reminiscent of like the way Deadhouse Gate starts, with like Hiborik there and a guy covered in flies walks towards Hiborik and then vanishes and there's no one there. Yeah, that's right at the start of the book. It's almost like homage or something, or the flies are like a warning, but it's like Hiborik's in his own world. He doesn't realize that. I thought that anyway, but I doubt. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know if that was a thing.
Because there was that, and then the other thing that not confused, but I was just interested in. when Parin summons Hood.
Yeah.
And he almost goes through the gate. Then Hood shows up, and they're having this discussion, and he asks Hood what he wants.
Yeah.
And you see this whole description of a face in the gate.
Yeah.
That wakes up as they're talking.
Yeah.
I need to know what that's about.
No, yeah, so Quick Ben, that was Quick Ben. He was hiding there.
Or he was listening.
Yeah, he was listening. So he knows what deal Parin has struck with Hood. He knows exactly what Hood wants. Parin knows what Hood wants. And it's something crazy. Both of them think it's something insane. But Parin has struck that deal.
Okay.
And Quick Ben knows. Quick Ben being Quick Ben knows what that deal is.
And I guess he's going to call him out later.
What do you like? I can't even imagine what Hood is up to or what he wants.
Because what could Hood want?
But again, what Hood did was he allowed Hiborik to actually do that. So like,
because he had to open the gate from the other side.
Yeah, and then only like, I think when Hiborik was then like, because he was dying as well, right? So I don't know, like, Hood sort of gave that thing permission to do whatever it needed to do to stop the stuff from happening?
Because I guess with Hiborik dead, he's in Hood's realm. Hiborik is Shield Anvil. He can't act.
Is now Shield.
Yeah, he can't act in the real world without Hood opening the gate for him to act in the real world.
Yeah, but there are all the other souls as well, right? So are those tied to Hood?
Yeah. I guess maybe now with him opening the gate, they'll go to Hood. He benefits. Again, this is a line that I saw.
I don't know. Yeah,
this is a line I saw. This is a line that my friend has in his WhatsApp, his WhatsApp profile. And he's one of the guys who made me read this, because he said, with everything that we do, Hood smiles.
Yeah, because it's just a win-win for him.
It's a win-win for him. So I guess, I don't know. I really don't know what Hood would like from this whole situation. I'd figure maybe to kill Ikariam, so he ends up in Hood's realm and he has these champions. But I'd wonder whether that Ikariam is a bigger deal to him than, let's say, someone like Anomanda Rake. Because Rake is more valuable to him dead than alive.
Yeah, but do Tister and Andy go to Hood?
If you swear to him. Through Paran, he could claim him and take Dragnipur and the souls within it.
Oh, yeah. I always thought, like, when the Andy die, they become just wraiths or something.
Or maybe he wants, I don't know, who knows what he wants. I don't know. Because there's so many things that you could say that maybe he'd be angling for. Maybe he wants the dragons, maybe he wants this. There's so many powerful things available that you don't know which one of them he could be aiming at.
Yeah.
Because he has you'd say that maybe he has no need for the thrones. But guys like Shadow Throne and Cotilion are there making 10 levels of plans.
Yeah.
To get these thrones. So I don't know. But that whole section was really that was really interesting for me.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out what the moon, that whole story for the moon, they'll have to tell us.
The moon, that was Magora's moon magic, right? She does something to it, and she uses its power to bring back Mappo, I guess.
Mappo, yeah. And now Mappo is crisscrossed with white lines as he heals.
Yeah, like a web of
scars.
sorts. Like a web of sorts.
But then the sad things in this book. Okay, what didn't you like in this book?
What didn't I like? That basically the internet trolls won.
How?
So the whole thing about these guys, all the stuff that they've done from the chain of dogs,
Yeah.
has just been twisted by basically the internet. Rumors.
Propaganda.
Yeah. I hate that kind of stuff. I know it happens all the time. These guys were not there, so they're just believing the guys who are behind all the bad shit that happened. They just take their word for it.
Yeah.
And run with it. So these guys who basically fought for the Empire are now the guys who betrayed the Empire, like because of rumors.
Yeah.
Rumors that are made up from the guys who are behind the whole thing that was going wrong.
And all this is just because of Kobolodom and Malakrel.
Yeah, no, and the Empress. She knows this.
Yeah, she knows this.
She knows this very well, but she's like, who cares?
Yeah, she doesn't care.
So long as I'm in charge. Yeah, like, I really hate the Empress after this. Like, the scene needs to go.
Okay. And the thing that I didn't like was, I don't know, I wished someone like Dujek would have survived all through.
Dujak's died off screen in a very lame way.
Yeah. I wish like Dujek would have gotten like a better send-off. But I hope that, again, like with Hedge and company, maybe he'll join the Bridgeburners. He'll not be the Bridgeburners captain in death.
He was never a bridge burner, though.
Oh yeah, he was an army guy. He was the fist.
Yeah. He's still like whatever the bridge burners are, because they morph between being bridge burners and just being soldiers, right?
Yeah.
So maybe, but I doubt it. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that maybe we'll get to see him again like later. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sad. It was nice though, Parin pretending to be
kindly. That whole idea of having a captain who's just batshit crazy and just does weird things, and their stories are the ones that are all up in the army. That was cool.
Yeah, that was dope. The whole army structure, I think it's done so well with all the captains' personalities and their squad mates.
Yeah.
I mean, their underlings and the soldiers within their squads. It's like such a good, there's so much synergy between all those guys. Like, the crazy ones have the crazy guys. But then the one rock that holds them all together, like, they're all set up like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that.
Yeah, me too.
Except for the idiot who blew up the wall, the one from the Mott Irregulars.
But even then, when you see
singing,
when you see the discussions about the
sweet as Pete,
the bridge burners and the bridge burners, how the bridge burners became the bridge burners was by fighting the Mott Irregulars in that weird forest.
Yeah.
So there's a whole like rivalry between the two.
Yeah. But now they're the same.
Yeah, but now the parts of the Mott are in the bridge burners. So what they hate is part of them now.
Huh. I never thought of it like that.
Because it's that whole idea. Okay, from what I took from that was, it's the whole idea between, like, when they went through Raraku, they were made stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even with their fight with the Mott guys, yes, before then they were an untested military unit. But by the time they got out of there, they were the guys. Then now the bridge burners went into Raraku, came back. They were, again, the top dogs. Then they got killed off. They're now a ghost army of heroes. The same way the fourth going into Igatan, coming out, they're the ones now.
They're all bitten by rats this time.
Yeah. That is going to be a very weird thing. I don't know how.
It's the rat god behind this. Like,
that's gonna be, that feels, I don't know. That feels very scary, man. Why is a rat biting and tasting everyone's blood?
Yeah.
And you're naming it after the city that was burned. that all of you guys almost died in.
Yeah, there's something weird with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. They've given that thing power and they don't know. I don't know.
Where it's Bottle's fault. Hey, Bottle skills as well. Like him teaching Quick Ben how things should be and helping Quick Ben make sense of stuff, and he's like, what are you? Quick Ben's like, what are you? He's like, I don't know. Bottle's like,
He just understands magic, I guess, in its most raw form. Yeah. Because he understands the holes.
Yeah.
That's something that I don't think we've seen Quick Ben explain.
Yeah, but Quick Ben knows about the holes as well. It's just, it's sort of like maybe Bottle goes further.
Yeah. I feel like he has more hands-on experience with stuff like that.
From his grandma.
Yeah. And even just the way he uses his power, it's much less deliberate. And since it's more natural, I feel like he can draw power from the holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not the same way like Quick Ben he has access to 6 warrants, so he has to be very clear about what he's using.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the difference between a sorcerer and a wizard. One has read for it, the other one it's natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. A warlock, sorry, and a wizard.
I feel like I had notes on all this stuff. They're just not here. But like, there was even the card game. That was, okay, you asked what the grimmest thing was?
Yeah.
That card game that they play on the ship. That was done so well.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because they always mention it, Fidler's games and stuff. And now you know why they're so messed up.
Yeah.
Because they're very true. It sort of like lays out what is going on in a very weird way.
Yeah.
Where you as the reader can see it very clearly.
But they as the people playing the game don't.
They have to think about it.
Yeah.
And it's their lives on the line. And it's very clear where all the lines are drawn and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very grim. Like Tavor forces him to play the game.
Okay. But what did you like now in this book?
Oh, everything. This was my favorite book.
For real?
Yeah. Okay. I think I mentioned that before as well.
This
is my favorite one.
Yeah, you said in the spoiler.
For like you mentioned that you found it slow up till about Yugatan, and then
then things at least picked up for me because I felt because I started reading it, then I switched to audiobook, then I kept on like jumping in between the both of them.
Yeah.
So reading has its own pace, so it's fine. But when I'm listening to the audiobook, the first third feels very slow because, again, I feel a lot of it is world building and it's information it's a refresher.
Yeah.
This is where these guys were, this is where these guys were, this is where these guys were, this is where they're heading. Then you start setting the scene, then something happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't find it slow at all. Like I went through this book so fast the first time around. The second time around even faster because I listened to it at double the speed.
I've never been able to do that.
Yeah, it takes practice, but you can. Yeah. I think the first time around I like listening to the way the reader is acting. The second time around it's more like I know how he acts.
So now
I just want to remind myself of what happened.
Okay. Even for me, I liked this book too. Even though... Okay, no, there's no even though. I liked it. The things that happen in the story are part of the story. Like Dujak.
Yeah, that was... But Poliol got hers.
Poliol got hers. But now, I don't know whether Poliol and Soliel are twin sisters, whether the one and the same person.
No, Soliel was like the opposite.
Is it really opposite or is it just
It's like a healer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're sisters, but like they don't like each other. One agrees to help kill the other one, I think.
Because now I was imagining, because with the way things have been in these books, I wouldn't put it too far beyond these guys to say that what if we find out in like the next book that Poliel and Soliel are like the same person and Soliel is just one part, is the good side of her.
Yeah. Could be.
So I just don't know.
There was Luck Kids, the luck gods. I forgot. Opon, yeah, that's it. This guy's clearly a thing of Opon, Corabb.
Yeah.
Which we already assumed with his crazy luck when he covers the bomb with a helmet and goes flying up and is flying after. But yeah, it's confirmed.
Okay.
And he has a bigger role to play. Queen of Dreams was actually after him instead of Leoman.
Yeah.
And because of what Leoman did, Corabb obviously left Leoman's side.
Yeah.
And the Queen of Dreams is like, I don't know what to give you to do. I was more like interested in your other dude. Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. Now, at least now that I'm looking forward now to picking up now the next one.
Yeah.
Because hopefully now we'll catch up with all these.
Oh, there was also the bit where Cutter saw that whole conversation as well.
Cutter saw that conversation?
Yeah, Cutter was like dead, right? But like before he comes back to life, it's like he's looking at the Queen of Dreams having that conversation with Leoman and Dunsparrow. And then she turns to him, and it's like he wakes up or something. I can't remember what exactly happens.
Okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like lots of weird stuff going on here.
Yeah, like I feel like there's subtle details that when we get like another pass through, I feel like we'll end up going through all 10 of these again.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
These are this book's amazing.
Yeah, we'll have to go through all these 10 again and just hopefully we'll be able to pick things out earlier. Maybe in chapter 1 of Memory of book 1 of Gardens of the Moon, there's something there that lets you know how everything ends up.
Okay, I don't have anything else to say. What would do you have anything else?
For me, I guess that's it now.
Okay. Well, how would you rate this?
8.
8.
7, 8. Because I liked this book, even though, again, I said it took me a while, but I enjoyed it. This is the first book I've maybe finished twice before we've done the episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me too, actually. But I give us a 9. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I don't remember what I gave in the first.
I have those, but this thing hasn't logged in. Yeah, we'll get the show details.
But it's a 9 for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, it's my favorite one.
So far.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so next we'll be reading Reaper's Gale.
Reaper's Gale, yeah.
Which is the next book in the series. I will probably do show notes for this, so you can click on... I should have said this at the start.
But you can cut it out and put it at the beginning.
Yeah. I'll do that. I think I've done that once as well. But what was I saying? Yeah, we're covering Reaper's Gale. The other stuff that we're covering is the Swords of Ditto, Arcane, the TV show, The Green Knight, and what have I missed? I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And the next book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's it. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
I'm Hellsknight.
I'm Hillary.
Have fun.
Later.
Do you have an opinion on what we just discussed? Did we miss something? Tell us in the comments section and we'll read it in the next episode. If you're listening on Anchor, send us a voice message and we'll add it to this episode. Don't forget to follow our podcast on Twitter @SpoilFans for updates, and follow our Instagram for behind-the-scenes action @SpoilersInFandom. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and Anchor to get the latest episodes.